Welcome. Very excited to be working with all of you today on the Power Team Certified program. My goal is to help you make more money through BNI with Power Teams as fast as possible. I don't want this to be an academic exercise. I want this to be a money-making activity. And today we're going to be laying the groundwork for creating an ongoing stream of referrals with your Power Team. So there are some terms, concepts, and basic information that we need to get out there so that we're all talking the same language, and then we can implement the same system. So today we will be doing a little more theory, a little more concepts than what we'll be doing going forward. So as I was saying, I want you to make more money, and I want it to happen fast. That's my goal. Let's dig into the program now and take a look at some of the resources that we're going to be working with today. We'll start with the Power Team Roadmap Workbook. And if you open up the workbook to page 1, you see a warm-up exercise. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to warm up, get the juices flowing, and use this as a way to jumpstart what we're going to do with Power Team Certified. So go ahead and open up your workbook to page 1, and you'll see the there we go. You'll see the warm-up exercise. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you to take out a pen or pencil and go ahead and circle the number 1. Now go ahead and circle the number 60. In just a moment, don't start yet, but in just a moment I'm going to ask you to race through the numbers in sequence. In other words, number 2, number 3, number 4, and so on, all the way to number 60. Okay? So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Start circling. Going from 1, 2, 3, and in sequence all the way to 60. Circle the numbers as fast as you can. Go ahead and keep circling. Work your way to number 60. And I know all of you are top-notch networkers, and so you're probably almost finished now. We'll give you another, 5 seconds? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, pencils, pens down. Did anyone make their way through number 60? And in fact, if you want to have a little fun, go ahead and type in the number that you were able to reach. How far did you go? Somebody says 29, pretty darn good. 20, okay. And 33, Nicole, good job. 38, oh my gosh. Okay, 25, good. So, 50%, 60, 70%, people race through there pretty quick. Now, let's have a little fun. I want you to go ahead and draw a line, as you see on the screen, from top to bottom, between the 13 and the 2, and so forth, from top to bottom. Now I'd like for you to draw a horizontal line, just like you see on the screen, between the 9 and the 3, from left to right. So basically what we're doing here is we're dividing up the number chart into 4 quadrants. And let me show you something. You see where the number 2 is located, number 3, number 4. You're seeing a pattern already, aren't you? You're seeing that all of these numbers are in the upper left-hand corner of each quadrant. Now let's see, 5, 6, 7, and I'll bet you're already thinking about where number 8 is, aren't you? Your mind has already projected where that number 8 is going to be because you see the pattern. Now it's my goal today to show you a couple of patterns in networking as a Power Team certified networker that's going to give you the ability to see where the next referral is coming from. No longer will creating referrals be a random happenstance. It's going to be a proactive, systematic activity where we know where the referrals are going to come from. And by the way, there's the number 8. What we're going to do now is we're going to start digging into some of the patterns that I'm going to have you looking for, and then we're going to start showing you how to convert those observations into referrals. So let's go ahead and now turn to page 2 in the workbook. And I'm going to now bring up another PowerPoint. Now, what I'm literally going to be doing is working through the lesson plans and the webinars that are on your DVDs. So whatever I go through today, I might cover things a little differently, might focus on a particular aspect that we find relevant to what you guys are doing. But all of the material that we'll be covering live today, you can review and go through on your own with the recorded DVDs. And we'll see how far we get today, and then that's what we'll do each week, is work our way through at an accelerated pace through the program. So let's just go ahead and dive right in on page 2, and I want to just quickly go over the way the workbook is set up. The workbook is set up as 16 different lesson plans, and each lesson plan has 1 or more webinars. And so we're going to have on the lesson plan page the goals, the action steps, and the webinars to watch. Just kind of point you in the right direction with the self-paced materials. And then each webinar has a note taker, so we take a look at page 3. And so as we go through the material, this is the pattern that you'll see. The lesson plan is introduced, and then each webinar has a note taker. So back to page 2, we're going to dive right into lesson plan number 1 and work our way forward. The goals for today for this particular lesson plan is to introduce some of the terms and concepts. We're going to talk about the 4 stages of developing a power team, and then get you into the groove, into the good habits of watching the webinars, doing the work, and as a result, enjoying the benefits of power team networking. So let's just go ahead and jump to page 3, and we're going to move kind of quickly because we're going to have some action steps here that are going to jumpstart your power team networking. But let's get through some of these terms and concepts. So this is an introductory webinar to the program, and we're going to start going through the terms and concepts on page 3. So when we talk about money on the table, we're talking about potential referral opportunities. Next is key situations, and in a moment we're going to show you what we're talking about here. Essentially, key situations are common life cycle events that are being experienced by a group of consumers in a target market. The idea is that we're using these common life cycle events to recognize opportunity. Okay, so let's take a look at the 6 key situations, and you can see them listed in your workbook. My goal today is to sensitize your networking radar to recognize people who are experiencing these 6 key situations. You're going to find that over 90% of the referrals in your BNI chapter can ultimately be traced back to these 6 key situations. So let's go through them real quickly, beginning with the business builder in the upper left-hand corner. Business builders are people who are starting a new business or making a current business more profitable. People building a business can create a lot of referrals for a wide variety of members of your BNI chapter, and we're going to show you how that works. Next is people getting healthy. This common life cycle event involves people who are recovering from illness or injury or being proactive toward optimal health. Next, going clockwise, is people getting married. Below that, relocation, people moving into or out of town. Then real estate. Under real estate, we're talking about buying, selling, new construction, and property management. And then finally, the new baby key situation. Nothing changes life more than the new baby coming into the house. And I can tell you, I'm in San Francisco. I live in northern Arizona, visiting our daughter who had our first grandchild. And so we're having a lot of fun, and I'm literally watching the referral frenzy as the new baby changes all kinds of things in the house. And so I'm just going to keep moving through the terms and concepts rather than get sidetracked on telling stories this early, but I've got a lot of fun things to share with you today. So, as we mentioned, each of these 6 key situations can generate referrals for more than 36 different business categories. I want you to start thinking about which key situations are most productive for your business. Okay, I want you to make this personal, and we're going to work on that in just a few minutes. Trigger questions. So you're going to hear me talk a lot about trigger questions. These are specific questions that you can ask that are going to uncover referral opportunities when you're talking to people who are getting married, having babies, building a business, getting well, all the different key situations. The primary trigger question that we're going to focus on for right now is the biggest challenge trigger question. You're talking to someone who is telling you that, my gosh, we are going to be opening our brand new business in a couple of weeks, and it's just, a lot going on. And so you'll ask the person, well, with your new business, what's the biggest challenge? What's your biggest challenge at the moment with your new business? It could be anything from staffing to office space to marketing to stress to time management. And you have people in your BNI chapter that you can refer to the business builder once you've identified what their need is, what their challenge is. And that's the beauty of these trigger questions. In the material, we literally have hundreds of trigger questions based on your business category. And so for right now, we're just kind of opening the door to some of the tools that we'll be working with. Trigger questions, very important. Next, we'll just do a couple quick definitions. Here, when we're talking about a network, we're really just talking about people who you have a certain level of visibility with. Visibility is when someone knows who you are, what you do, and you know what they do. It's a reciprocal relationship, particularly from the power team standpoint. Next is credibility. This is when someone knows not only who you are and what you do, but that you're good at what you do. Profitability is when you're exchanging referrals based on credibility. Okay, so VCP, you've all seen that before, and these are the 3 stages of building relationships, not only in business, but personally and professionally. So the VCP process is going to be a key as we work our way through the material. Next is contact sphere. Okay, now we start getting into some interesting phraseology. And the contact sphere in a BNI setting is typically a group of business professionals who aren't competing with each other, they complement each other, and they're symbiotic in that they can work for the same client, adding value to each other's work. So that's a contact sphere. Now in Power Team Certified, we're going to be looking at 6 contact spheres, and you can turn the page in your workbook now to page 4. I want you to make this interactive for yourself. And for now, on this type of a webinar, that means making notes in your workbook. We're going to be awarding a prize at the end of the training for the person who took the most copious notes in their workbook. So go ahead and mark it up and make this personal. So the 6 contact spheres that we're looking at start with event services. Now, if you're in the event services contact sphere, I'd like for you to mark that in your workbook in some way. You can see the business categories that we have as examples, and these are simply examples. There are many other business categories that could fit into any of these contact spheres. The idea is that we're going to give you enough information so that you can place your own business into one of the 6. Next is real estate and finance, wellness services, property services, business services, and personal services. Okay, so traditionally power teams in BNI and even outside BNI, when people get together for networking, they typically organize by their industry group, related business categories getting together because it makes sense. They're oftentimes working for the same client and they can pass business back and forth. So Traditionally, this is how BNI has developed power teams. Now, there's some downside to building your power team based on contact spheres. One of the main downsides is that if you're not in the right contact sphere, you are not on the power team. And unfortunately, that creates a situation where you have too many members of the chapter on the outside looking in. They'd like to participate in the power team, but because they don't have the right business category, they've never been invited to participate. So let's take a look at what we do. The power team is really not only your contact sphere, as you can see the first part of the definition, but people who've made a mutual commitment to actively engage in a referral relationship. And one of the real innovative and breakthrough characteristics of Power Team Certified is that we're basing the power teams on the key situations, not on the contact sphere. And we'll have some fun with this now going forward. So really the key distinction between a power team and a contact sphere is that mutual commitment and increased level of networking activity. And I'm not talking about busy work. It's time early on here to get right into the philosophy of Power Team Certified. Okay, you all know the phrase "givers gain." This is the BNI credo. This is our philosophy. We give in abundance and then we will receive. So again, with traditional power teams, because they've been based on contact spheres, the power team is primarily focused on creating referrals for the other people on the power team. It makes sense. That's what they do. After all, they're doing the extra work to create the results. Unfortunately, though, when we simply limit our referral creation activity to the other people on the power team, we're doing a disservice to the consumer. We're doing a disservice to the consumer. Your network includes a wide variety of businesses that have relevant products. Let's just use the example of the business builder. We mentioned it earlier. Somebody starting a business, they may need a copy machine, they may need printing, they may need a telephone system. Well, clearly the business categories from business services can be relevant. But let's take a look at a connection that might not be obvious, which is the health and wellness businesses. Business builders can benefit from the people in the health and wellness contact sphere, like, for example, as I'll show you a little bit later, the massage therapist. A massage therapist can be beneficial to a business builder if there's an office staff. How about bringing the massage therapist in for, chair massage at the office every other week, or even just once a month to boost morale? How about giving gift certificates for the massage therapist to the best clients of the business to create that top of mind awareness and customer loyalty? How about the business builder themselves, overworked, stressed out, would certainly benefit from a regular schedule of massage, increased stamina, more clarity, more focus, more energy, going to have more time and more ability to build the business. So as you're going to see, we're going to get into quite a bit of detail on how different contact spheres can work together based on the key situations. So let's keep moving forward through these terms. Bragging buddy. You'll hear me talk a lot about the bragging buddy. The bragging buddy is somebody who helps a prospect like, trust, and want to do business with you. They are your sales force. And the tool in their toolbox is called the compelling testimonial. We're going to wrap up today's training with something that we call the 10 key question worksheet, which essentially helps you prepare to train your power team, to train them to be your bragging buddy and give compelling testimonials. Golden Goose, this is an ongoing source of referrals. Typically, these are people dealing with your target market on a regular basis. And this is our goal. We want Golden Goose referral sources that are going to send us an ongoing stream of referrals. Next is systematic visibility. Now, this is another very powerful aspect of Power Team Certified. Systematic visibility is a series of referral creation strategies that you can implement proactively and systematically, and essentially we're taking the guesswork out of referrals. We're not going to be sitting back waiting for people to ask you, do you know a good massage therapist? Do you know a good realtor? We're going to start slowly with the first 2 levels of systematic visibility. We're going to show you 10 in Power Team Certified, and you'll pick the ones that work best for you. Bottom line is, beyond asking you to make a commitment to create referrals for each other, we're going to ask for a commitment on which systematic visibility strategies you're going to use. And then finally, the Salesforce update. Depending on where you're at in your region, this can be referred to as different things. The infomercial, the sales manager minute. But essentially in the BNI setting, this is when you go around the table early in the meeting and you continue to train your power team on how they can recognize your target market, in this case the key situations that we're going to be focusing on, and you're also going to give them a few tidbits on how they can give compelling testimonials as your bragging buddy. So that's the Salesforce update. Okay, so I'm going to switch my PowerPoint presentations. That essentially completes webinar number 1. You'll find the recorded webinars are nice and short, and you can use kind of a laser-like focus on picking the topics that you really want to learn more about. So I'm going to freeze my screen. If anybody has any questions on the terms and concepts, please type those in now. I'll answer those, and then we're going to move on to the material from webinar 2. Alright, I'll keep my eyes on the question box in case a question does come up. But now we're going to move to page 5, webinar number 2, the 4 stages of power team development. So, unfortunately, what has happened around the world with power teams is that a group of people, could be anywhere, typically from 4 to 8 people in a chapter, decide they want to form a power team, and they get together and they're all excited, they have ideas, they're not sure what to do, and they get together for a meeting and they talk about, well, let's make a commitment to create referrals for each other. And some power teams have unique and charismatic special individuals that come up with some good ideas, and the power team begins to learn more about each other's business and start to pass referrals. But unfortunately, most power teams flounder because they really don't have a systematic approach to training each other beyond what they do at the BNI meeting and creating referrals for each other beyond what they normally do, which is keep their eyes and ears open for somebody who might need a product or service. We're going to go way beyond that now, and we're going to show you the 4 stages of power team development. So if you look at page 5, you'll see the graphic, and we're going to start today and next week with boot camp, and we'll be finished with boot camp at the end of next week. Okay, I want to get through this material very quickly so that we get right into making your bragging buddies systematically visible and creating referrals for each other. Essentially, as you see on page 5 there, the goal of boot camp there's 2 goals. Number 1 is to articulate or describe your differentiated value in a way that's easy to repeat, and describe your target market in a way that's easy to recognize. So in terms of your differentiated value, we're going to use some of the tools in the Power Team Certified Roadmap workbook to help you. So let me clue you in to the back of the workbook, okay? So pick up your workbook and go ahead and flip through the workbook to, let's see, it's page 56. And I don't know if there's a 56 on the bottom, but it's the appendix, the connector to creator directory. And go ahead and open it up to the appendix, the connector to creator directory, and then take a quick look, and you'll see at the bottom of that spread, now you're looking at a landscape orientation, the contents, and you'll see the 6 contact spheres and then 4 business category examples. So go ahead and take a moment and flip through these subsequent pages here to find your contact sphere, and then if there's a match, your business category may well be represented. So for example, if everybody would open up to page 61, let's go ahead and if you're having a problem finding the material in the workbook, just type that in the question box. Go ahead and open to page 61, and you'll see that we have a connector to creator worksheet for someone in the computer business. Okay, and we're talking about tying two things together. I'm talking about articulating your differentiated value or describing your business in a way that's easy to repeat. And I'm showing you that in the back of the workbook there are the connector to creator worksheets that we'll be spending time on as we go forward now. And we're taking the guesswork on how to describe your business. You see on that connector to creator worksheet that black box that says key situation, below that is golden goose, and then brag about. Well, that brag about line is showing you different ways to brag about a computer person to a prospect in all 6 of the key situations that we're working with. And if that makes sense, go ahead and type it into me that makes sense. If not, I'll answer some questions. But I'm hoping that as this is starting to get intuitive now on how the connector to creator worksheets are set up, it's going to be very easy for you to either find your own business category or at least your contact sphere, and you can start looking at the business categories in there and how they're being described and how they're being made relevant to these different key situations. So I'm hoping that this is a good resource for you. Okay? All right. So having said that, let's go back now and let's see. I'm going to look at some of the questions here. Makes sense to me. Love the connector to creator worksheet. All right. I'm glad to hear that. You know what? We're going to make money together, guys. Stick with me a little bit as I get your toolbox loaded with the tools, and I'm going to guarantee you that if you just do as I ask you to do, you're going to make more money. And you're going to make money for the entire BNI chapter. I started talking a little bit about who's being shortchanged. Well, it's the consumer. Okay, I want you to understand how the other members of your chapter can be relevant in ways that have been overlooked up to this point. And the connector to creator worksheet is really one powerful series of examples on what that looks like. So I see another comment coming in. Okay, and the question is, do we start developing the connector to creator worksheet for ourselves to train others? Not yet. No. We're going to take you step by step, and the connector to creator worksheet we're going to work on next week. But I know that the folks on today's webinar are the go-getters. You guys are the 20% that's driving 80% of the volume. I know that. And I know you're going to go ahead and you're going to race through this as fast as you can. That's why we sent you the DVDs. Today we're going to work through multiple webinars. We'll see how far we can go. But no, don't start the connector to creator for yourself, but definitely review them, familiarize yourself with them, and start making it your own. And then next week we'll start putting together your connector to creator worksheet. Okay? All right. So these are the 2 goals of boot camp. And we'll go to the next slide. So the Power Team Action Grid is your roadmap, and we're going to be using this more in subsequent webinars, but essentially as we go from top to bottom, this is almost a chronological sequence of how you're going to build your power team. And I'm simply pointing out now that we're in the research and preparation stage of your power team journey, and this is your boot camp, and I'm going to show you some of these incremental pieces now as we go forward. We're looking at the 10 key question worksheet, and this is how we're going to wrap up today. We're going to focus on a couple other things for a few minutes, and then we're going to wrap up with the 10 key question worksheet. The idea here is that by going through the 10 key questions, you're going to refine how you train your power team. You're going to help people recognize your target market and give compelling testimonials, and we use these 10 key questions to make sure that you're going to be efficient and effective with people. So I see a comment here, thanks for the clarification. We just need to stay with you so as not to miss the heart of the training. Yeah, I will take you by the hand here. I'm your consultant, you're my client. You know, when I was running my real estate appraisal business, I had a statement that I would always make to the new employees, and I was known as the benevolent dictator, okay? I want the best for you, I really do. I'm going to help you every step of the way. All I ask is that you do what I ask you to do, the way I asked you to do it, in the time frame that I requested. If you do that, we're going to get along just great. So we're going to work on the 10 key question worksheet here in a few minutes. Let's just keep moving through the slideshow, and this is the connector to creator worksheet, and I'm just showing you some of the key features here. These forms can be downloaded from moneyonthetablebook.com. They're PDFs that are listed there, and you can download these for next week, and we're going to work on it. So now I'm on page 6, and we're just very quickly going to go through the rest of the 4 stages so that you know where we're going, and then we're going to get into helping you complete your 10 key questions. So the first stage was the boot camp, right? The second stage is bragging buddies. So unlike what traditionally happens where you get a group of 4 to 8 people who want to create referrals for each other as a power team and they wonder what they're going to do, we're going to start you as bragging buddies in teams of 2 or no more than 3. You'll be meeting with your bragging buddy, work your way through the action grid, and early on you're going to have 2 meetings with your new bragging buddy. And the first is to exchange the 10 key questions. You'll be interviewing each other. And then the second meeting, you'll be going through your connector to creator worksheets to plan your work and then work your plan. But ultimately, my goal is to get you to begin implementing systematic visibility to create referrals right away. Now, after next week's training, you will be locked and loaded and ready to start implementing some of the strategies. So within the next week or 2, you should be into referral creation mode, and then we're just going to pick up the pace. But understand what I'm saying. We're going to start you with 1 bragging buddy, maybe 2, no more than that, and then we're going to be building your power team from that foundation. Okay, I see another comment which says, will you give us a homework sheet or schedule we can follow? Yes, I will. We're absolutely going to take this 1 step at a time, and you'll know what the expectation is on you. Right now, just trying to race through a high-level overview so that we can all know what we're doing here. So the 2 goals of the bragging buddy stage is to complete boot camp together, and that should take no more than 2 quick meetings, and then begin implementing systematic visibility and start creating referrals for each other. So the goal is that you're going to be creating referrals for each other as quick as possible as a duo or maybe a trio. That's stage 2. And that's where we're still in the research and preparation stage, but we're beginning to get into promotional activity in the Power Team Action Grid. The third stage is Power Team Pioneers. Okay, we have 4 stages of Power Team development. Stage 1 is Boot Camp. Stage 2 is Bragging Buddies. Stage 3 is the Power Team Pioneers. This is where the Bragging Buddy duos who have begun creating referrals for each other, they're successfully implementing the first 2 levels of systematic visibility. And believe me, this is simple stuff. As a consultant, I get paid for using big words. Systematic visibility, differentiation, but it's very simple stuff. It's just a matter of doing them the right way on a regular basis. And believe me, I'll show you every aspect of what this looks like. But the point is that we're going to start building your power team in blocks of 2 or 3. So 2 or 3 people that have been bragging buddies that have created closed business for each other, they're now going to join with another pair or trio who have also been successfully creating referrals for each other. And now they're going to come together as a power team of 4 to 5 people, maybe 6, as Power Team Pioneers. And I have meeting agendas that we're going to get into, and you'll know exactly what to do each week with your power team. So phase 3, power team pioneers. And again, we're into the promotional activity. And then we start getting into group activity, okay? And this will be several weeks into the future as we ramp up group activity. I'm just trying to keep you on the same paradigm as we all begin this journey together. Now, finally, the 4th stage, the ultimate goal, is the advanced power team. And there is an additional power team meeting agenda that you'll be running, and you'll be completing the elements of that power team action grid. But the idea with the advanced power team is to create referrals for all of the members in the chapter with relevant products or services. Remember those patterns that we looked at the very beginning, that warm-up exercise? And we've taken a look a little bit at the 6 key situations, and I've given you the example of how like a massage therapist can be relevant to a business builder. There's so many more ways that members of your chapter are relevant to those 6 key situations. Your goal is to create referrals for everybody that's relevant. You're going to let your clients, your customer, your sphere of influence see your network. You're going to make them systematically visible in a variety of ways. You're going to create a lot more referrals for people in the chapter. You're going to give in abundance. Even if the people in your chapter are not on your power team, you're going to create an abundance of referrals for them. And there's several reasons why. Number 1 is we want to grow your BNI chapter, don't we? Okay. Well, how do you grow a BNI chapter? You grow the chapter, number 1, with retention. People seeing the value, they're making money, they're going to stay. Okay. It's in your best interest to keep good people in the chapter, even if they're not in your contact sphere. We're going to do that by creating referrals for them. How else do you build your chapter? Not just by increasing retention, but increasing the number of visitors and increasing the visitor conversion ratio, right? What makes a visitor join a chapter? Well, they see themselves being successful. They know other people are being successful. And the best way to make that success visible is by passing referrals at the meeting. Okay? It's all about referrals, ladies and gentlemen. And so we're going to keep moving through this. I get very excited on these topics, and at this early stage, I don't want to get too sidetracked on some of these things. Let's get you into some work activity so that you'll know what's expected next. And let's go ahead into the next screen. So here we're just saying that the advanced power team continues throughout time, and we can get your chapter into an advanced power team setting within probably 5 to 6 weeks if it's a good strong group. But even if you never advance to the advanced power team, even if you simply peak, if you will, at the bragging buddy stage, you're going to be making more money and creating more referrals. If you can get to the advanced power team, you're going to see success beyond your wildest expectations. So that completes webinar number 2. And if there were any questions, go ahead and type them in. So now we're on page 7. Okay, we're going to start digging into your boot camp. And as we mentioned, your boot camp begins with identifying your number 1 key situation. Then we're going to take a look at the 10 key questions. And then probably next week, I don't know if we'll have time today, we'll see how it flows, but we'll look at the first 2 levels of systematic visibility, and then we get you to pick out your first bragging buddy and get into creating referrals, okay? So for right now, page 8, where we're going to look at the I'm Relevant worksheet, okay? So everybody open up to page 8. And we're going to dive right into your boot camp. Starts right now. So on page 8, you'll see the I'm Relevant worksheet at the bottom. The I'm Relevant worksheet essentially is helping you clarify whether or not you're relevant to which of the 6 key situations, so that's the first column, If you have a product or service that's relevant to the 6 key situations, what's the consumer benefit? And then clearly there are going to be some key situations that are more productive for your business than others, and you'll be able to prioritize those in the right column. So now that we've refreshed our memory on the 6 key situations, I'm going to give you an example on how the I'm Relevant worksheet would be completed for a massage therapist. So again, these were the columns and you know what's on the worksheet. So for a massage therapist completing this worksheet, how can a massage therapist be relevant to the business builder? Well, we already covered this in my first example. Chair massage for the office increases morale. Could also be a gift certificate for good clients. Could also be a rejuvenating massage for the business builder. So in terms of chair massage, the benefit is office morale. Okay, makes sense. How about getting healthy? Well, a massage therapist can be relevant by way of therapeutic massage. This is a no-brainer. That speeds healing. It's right in the wheelhouse of a health and wellness professional like a massage therapist. Well, how about getting married? How can a massage therapist be relevant to people who are getting married? How about a wedding gift for the bride and groom? How about chair massage at the reception or a lengthy photo shoot? Any of you been to those oh so fun wedding photography shoots after the ceremony, before the reception? You know what I'm talking about. So if the massage therapist is providing a gift certificate for the wedding gift for the bride and groom, the consumer benefit is pamper and pleasure. Okay. How about having a baby? Well, a massage therapist can be relevant for prenatal massage, and that can result in an easier pregnancy for the mom. And also there's massage disciplines for the new baby as well. Okay, can clearly be relevant there. How can a massage therapist be relevant to somebody moving into or out of town? Table massage. And that's for optimal health, particularly people moving into town. They're looking for a wide variety of local practitioners that they can trust. And when you're talking about massage, particularly anything with health and wellness, people want to know that they can trust the person that's going to be giving them the massage. And so this is how that massage therapist can be relevant to people moving into town. And again, in the real estate key situation, people buying, selling, new construction, or property management. Table massage, very similar to relocation, but more of a stress reliever. I've been in the real estate industry for about 30 years. Very, very stressful buying or selling property. New construction also can be a stressful activity. And so while the real estate key situation may not be the primary target market for the massage therapist, people who are dealing in the real estate key situation can clearly refer to the massage therapist to their clients. So the idea is that not every key situation is going to be a top moneymaker for you, but you're going to have people in your BNI chapter where the different key situations are their bread and butter. I'm going to help you understand how you can be relevant to their clients. And then based on how much of a priority that key situation is for you, if it's towards the top, you might be on the power team. You might participate in some of the activities that drive systematic visibility for the rest of the group. Maybe not. You may not be looking to target people who are buying or selling property. If that's the case, all we're asking you to do is understand how you can be relevant to that target market and then train that power team to make you systematically visible. Okay? So again, if there's any questions, go ahead and type them up. But in this particular case, the massage therapist is going to rate the getting healthy key situation as his or her #1 key situation. People getting healthy, needing therapeutic massage, are a great target market for this massage therapist. That's going to guide how the massage therapist forms their power team, who they're going to select to be their bragging buddy, and what activities they're going to actively involve themselves in terms of systematic visibility. For #2 for the massage therapist might be the new baby key situation. Okay, we talked about how the massage therapist can be relevant, and if the new baby key situation is going to drive business, that's what we're looking to identify. Depending on the composition of the BNI chapter, if it's a strong health and wellness group, that's going to create opportunities among that contact sphere to form a power team. But the growing family with the new baby can be a primary target market for people in the insurance industry, financial planning, home remodeling. There is all different types of businesses from different industry groups that can do tremendous volume with growing families. So by identifying that that might be one of the top 3 key situations for the massage therapist, again, kind of guides us on how we're going to work through your BNI chapter. And then finally, the business builder. And I use this as an example because once we start taking a health and wellness practitioner like a massage therapist or a nutritionist or a personal fitness trainer, and we start showing them how they can be relevant to the business builder or some of these other not so obvious key situations, we start uncovering money on the table. Now, the business builder might be a really good target market for the massage therapist, but he or she isn't dealing with that many business builders. So the goal is to identify the people in the chapter who are, show that power team, the business builder power team, how to promote the massage therapist, and now we're off to the races. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a couple of minutes, and I'm going to be relying on you typing in, telling me that you're complete, you're finished, or you have a question. I want you to work through the I'm Relevant worksheet yourself right now. Okay, I want you to work through it right now for yourself. And I want you to go through each of the 6 key situations, and I want you to tell me if you have a relevant product or service. If so, what's the consumer benefit? And then I'd like for you to rate the top 3 for yourself. So go ahead, and yes, we're on page 8. And so I'm going to rely on you typing in stuff here so I know that you're either working your way through, you're finished, or you have a question. Okay, so Becky, I'm going to try to unmute you. Let's see what happens. Becky Martin. Whoop. Becky, can you hear me? Okay, so what business are you in, Becky? Sure. Okay, so let's have a little fun. This is always high risk when I spontaneously dive into someone's business and try to make sense of this. So in the real world, we know that it's unlikely you're going to be relevant to all 6. Okay, so the expectation is not to stretch the imagination to fit you into all 6. Hopefully we're going to find 1 or 2 good, strong key situations, and then maybe 1 or 2 others that could fit. Okay, so let's go through this. The business builder. That seems like a no-brainer from what little I know about your business. People building a business will have vital documents for their clients, their customers, their own infrastructure that they need stored. And it would seem that that would be a good key situation for you. Is that true? Yeah, okay, so that's a no-brainer. How about the getting healthy key situation? People getting healthy oftentimes have extensive medical records. I know, for example, my wife has a number of health challenges, and we have documents from a wide variety of wellness centers, nutrition, all sorts of things regarding her history, images, x-rays, that type of stuff. Would that be a potential target market for you? Okay, so we're 2 for 2. Yeah, so as we jump ahead, my friend, what I will do is I'm going to start showing you how you can network with the Business Builder Power Team to promote you in a relevant way, and the Getting Healthy Power Team, a completely different industry group, right? Okay, let's talk about the getting married key situation. People getting married. They may be combining finances They may want to start documenting their life together, particularly if they're going to move to the next key situation, having a baby. Storing the documents, all of the financial planning, the different celebrations, the movies, the photographs, the birth certificate, all of those things may not be a huge target market for you, but it would seem to me that you could provide a relevant product or service for both of those key situations. Does that make sense? Okay. How about relocation? People moving out of town. People moving out of town who have documents, different media, might be very concerned about losing their information in the move. And by working with you, they'll know that they have a secure, that their documents will be secure regardless of if the moving truck that's carrying their stuff, winds up in South America somewhere. Is that possible? Okay. And then real estate, buying, selling, building, remodeling, um, you know, any of those situations regard a ton of paperwork. And for tax purposes or for construction or remodeling, keeping accurate documents, keeping the history, keeping the blueprints, the images, photography during the construction phases, all of those things would, it seems to me, be important documents that someone would want to hang on to and make sure they're secure. Cool. Okay. All right. My pleasure. And so what I'd like to do is offer to any of you, okay, as we get to know each other better and as we work together over the next several weeks, if you have any challenges at all, I want you to know I'm available to you. I would ask first that you go to the back of the workbook where I showed you the Connector to Creator directory. And many of you, your business categories will already be represented, or there'll be a similar business category. The business category that we just talked about is a bit more unique. And so if you run into any challenges whatsoever, I want you to let me know. Go ahead and email me. My email is moneyonthetablebook@gmail.com, moneyonthetablebook@gmail.com, and you let me know what's on your mind. I also do a live open webinar on Saturdays from 1 p.m. Pacific. So most of you are on Central Time, so that would be 3 p.m. on Saturday Central. And that's an open forum where we can talk and we can have some fun, and you're all invited to that webinar as well. Okay, so I'll go back and look to the question box to see if there are any other questions. We worked with Becky, and Shelley is saying that I do not see how my product is relevant to these categories. I sell skincare, anti-aging makeup, and so on. Okay, well, I'm going to give you some real quickies here, and then we're going to move on to the 10 key questions. And this is for Shelley in the skincare anti-aging business. Business Builder, how is it relevant to Business Builder? Well, business builders want to make a good impression on their clients. They want to look and feel their best. Your products are relevant. If you have a sales force, if you have customer representatives, they all need to look and feel their best as well. So your product can be relevant to the business builder. Getting healthy, same thing. Anti-aging, skincare, people who are getting healthy want to look and feel their best. Their appearance will have a lot to do with their attitude, with their energy, and you can clearly be relevant to people who are getting healthy. People getting married, same thing. Skincare, anti-aging, they want to look and their best, feel their best, not only for the ceremony, the reception, and the honeymoon, but a long and happy, healthy life together. So you can be relevant there. Having a baby, skincare for the mom, maybe even the baby with, baby skin is a very different consideration. You may or may not have products that are relevant there. Relocation, people moving into town, well, that's a little broader target market, and a certain percentage of that target market as well as the general public are going to be interested in your products or services. The trick is having people who specialize in the relocation business make you systematically visible or promote you systematically to their people who are moving into town? Do you want to know a good anti-aging spa to work with, good skincare? I know the person that you need to talk to. Okay, and then buying or selling property, that may be a bit of a stretch. But again, if you focus on that key situation and you network with that power team, you're going to find that all the practitioners in that real estate group can be viewed from the business builder key situation. Real estate agents, property managers, even people in the construction trades who are out in the sun would certainly benefit from skincare. So that's a fast and furious overview, and I hope that was helpful. And I see Charles chimed in, looking good to sell, having a baby stretch marks. You guys are good, okay? You're getting the idea. Okay, let's see what Ron is saying here. Once you find your best prospect for your business, how do we get the chapter members to give you the referrals? I'll show you that, okay? Stay with me on that question. Right now, we're getting you dialed in on yourself. What's your best key situations? And now we're going to take a look at the 10 key questions. We're going to wrap up today with the 10 key questions, and then next week we're going to start talking about how do you match up with another bragging buddy, how do you get that bragging buddy to start making referrals for you, and then we're going to, after that, probably the third week, we're going to start looking at the rest of the chapter, okay? So as I said, just stay with me. We're going to take you step by step. So let's go ahead, and if you have more questions, type them in. Shelley, I see that that was helpful to you. I'm glad. And now we're going to go to page 9. We're going to quickly go through this, and then we're going to wrap up on time at 1/2 the hour, okay? So this is your assignment now. Somebody asked earlier about homework, what the expectation is. The expectation is that next week when we get together, you're going to have your 10 key question worksheet completed. Okay, we're going to go through it today. I'm going to give you some best practices, some tips on how to work your way through this worksheet, and then between now and next week you're going to complete the worksheet, and that will be your assignment. So let's go ahead and start working our way on page 9. So the 10 key question worksheet is your opportunity to train your power team. We need for you to organize your thoughts, to organize how you're going to describe yourself efficiently and effectively before we start training everybody else. We've got to make sure you've got your stuff together. And so the goal, again, is to describe your business in a way that's easy to remember and describe your targeted prospects in a way that's easy to recognize. So you can download the 10 key question worksheet or any of the other worksheets from the website, which is moneyonthetablebook.com. Okay, and they're also in the back of your workbook if you want to make a copy that way, but you can download them from the website. So on this screen, we're just showing you all 10 questions, and what we're going to do is take each one, spend a quick moment on it, and then turn you loose, and you can start answering these. So question number 1, well, before we do that, here's your best practices. Keep your answers short, okay? The goal here is to make your answers easy to remember and easy to repeat, and that has to be short answers. Okay, somebody wanted me to repeat the website, and there it is on the screen again. Okay, the website is moneyonthetablebook.com. moneyonthetablebook.com. It's also at the bottom of the pages on your workbook. If you just look at the bottom footer, you'll see the URL there as well. So keep your answers short. If you find that you are writing more than 3 sentences, you're writing too much. So no more than 3 sentences. And as we work through this, I'm going to ask you to start thinking in terms of stories. You've heard the saying, facts tell and stories sell. We want to get you to be able to tell short success stories. And as you look through those connector to creator worksheets, you'll see that we already give some example success stories that more than likely you can make your own as you train your sales force. So what we're really doing here with this 10 key questions is we're helping your power team partners portray you in a way so where the prospect is going to like and trust you, but more importantly, want to do business with you. Okay? So let's have some fun as we go through these. How'd you get started in your business? And you can see in the workbook on page 9 that I'm giving you the same tips in the workbook that's on the screen. So how did you get started question, this is a great icebreaker. Okay, and sometimes knowing how people get started in their business can enable your networking partners to give stronger testimonials about you. I'll give you an example. I have a networking partner in northern Arizona named Dr. Alex Carr. Dr. Carr is a chiropractor. When he applied to my BNI chapter, he was just finishing chiropractic school. Didn't have one client yet. Had not yet opened up his shop. Okay? Now, Dr. Carr submitted an application, as did another chiropractor who was already in business and had been in town for a number of years. Well, I learned some things about Dr. Carr and how he got started in his business that made a very powerful impression on me. Dr. Carr happens to be one of 3 boys. All his brothers are chiropractors. Dr. Carr's father is a chiropractor. In fact, Dr. Carr's father was involved with chiropractic theory and actually one of the movers and shakers on some of the modern day techniques that are being used throughout the world with chiropractic. Knowing Dr. Carr's background of his family and how many chiropractors he has involved, it's in his DNA. It's what he grew up around. It's what his family's all about. Knowing that about him, that's how he got started in his business, not only motivated me and the rest of the membership committee to accept his application into our chapter, but it's helped us give tons of great business to him, because when we're talking to a prospect, we can tell them not only about Dr. Carr, but from his background. It's easy to get excited about somebody who has such a strong tradition in their family for this particular profession. If your networking partners understand how you got started in your business, it might just be the differentiated value that sticks in the mind of the prospect that creates that closed transaction for you. So while this is a great icebreaker question, it can also be a very powerful question on helping create good referrals for you. Now, what we're going to do is you're going to complete the 10 key question worksheet for yourself. You're going to answer the questions for yourself. And then next week, we're going to get you pointed in a direction to find your first bragging buddy, and then you guys are going to get together and interview each other based on the 10 key questions. Okay, so this week you're going to fill it out for yourself, and then next week you're going to get together with your bragging buddy that we're going to pick, and you're going to interview each other and learn more about each other. Okay, so question number 1, how'd you get started in your business? Number 2, what do you enjoy most about what you do? Okay, if you're training your power team to give referrals, to give testimonials for you, they're trying to help a prospect like you. Okay, and when they know what you enjoy about what you do, you're enjoyable to be around if you're doing what you enjoy. Have you ever worked with somebody who doesn't enjoy what they do? Would you work with them again? Would you refer somebody to them? I doubt it. We want to work with people who enjoy their work. And so you want to train your sales force to understand what you enjoy, because that's going to help them position a prospect to like you. Next question, what separates you from your competition? These are bullet points. I want you to be short and sweet here. Okay, we're trying to help a prospect like and trust you. Well, knowing what differentiates you from the competition will help the prospect trust you. Okay, I'm going to go through these fairly quickly because I want to wrap up on time, and we're going to do a education coordinator training. Take us about 5 minutes to do that. So as you leave the webinar today, you're going to be giving a few bullet points on what makes you different than the competition. What advice would you give someone starting out in your business? Okay, this will help you clarify your success, your strategy for being successful, and that will also empower your bragging buddy to talk about you in a very professional way regarding your business philosophy. We'll talk more about this question next week. For now, just as you work your way through, give a couple quick sentences. What kind of advice would you give to someone starting out in your business? I'll give you a hint. You want to make sure that you're talking about strong relationships and consumer value. Those are universally accepted, and people resonate well with that sort of direction. And so however you answer the question, what advice would you give someone, it's my recommendation that somewhere in there it talks about relationships and consumer value. Okay, so that's question number 4. Question number 5, what are the coming trends in your business or industry? Okay, so here, and we're on page 10 now in the workbook, what coming trends for your business or industry? And when you're getting to the point where you're talking to your bragging buddy, this is kind of cool. You may be able to share information about trends that can help them, or they may have information that can help you and stay ahead of the curve. So when it comes to trends and what's going on in your business, just take a few moments and share some information on what's happening with your business, and then next week we'll develop that a little further as you begin your bragging buddy stage. What strategies have you found to be most effective? Here, I'm going to strongly recommend that you talk about word-of-mouth networking and referrals, but put it into your own words. Question number 6, what strategies have you found to be most effective in building your business? Number 7, if there's anything about your business or industry that you could change, what would it be? And this is going to be an interesting question. And I'm just going to let you fill that in, and we'll talk about it a little bit next week on what you came up with and why that can be really helpful when your bragging buddy is giving a compelling testimonial to a prospect. If there was anything you could change about your business or industry, what would it be? Number 8, what's the next big event coming up for you? Okay, I want you to think about this question. What's the next big event coming up for you? You're going to use this question in a variety of ways, but for right now, we're going to use the question so that not only will your networking partners get to know a little bit more about you and what's going on in your world and your life, but we're also going to talk about how we can use the answer to this question to create referral opportunities right now within your BNI chapter, things that you might be overlooking. The next big event could be anything from getting married, having a baby, taking a trip, planning an open house event, a product launch, remodeling the kitchen. I mean, whatever's going on in your world, let's get that written down as the answer to number 8, and we'll have a little fun with that next week. Question number 9, what's your biggest challenge at the moment? Well, we've seen this question before, haven't we? This is the big trigger question. There's many others, but I need to know, what's your biggest challenge at the moment? And not only will this help your bragging buddy understand you a little bit better and be able to represent you more as a person when giving compelling testimonials, but we're also going to show you how there's referral opportunities right now for you in your chapter based on the members of your group having relevant products or services to help you with this challenge. So by asking you specifically to tell me what your biggest challenge is, we're going to start finding some money on the table when we review your answers. And then finally, what type of customers are you looking for? Question number 10, we're on page 11 here. What type of customers are you looking for? Well, this is really the bottom line as we train your power team. And we're trying to give a clear picture on how they can recognize your target market. The recommendation is that you tie the answer to one of the 6 key situations as well as any other specific information that you think your power team should be aware of so they can recognize your prospects. Okay? So I'm going to leave here with a well, actually, yeah, the screen is reminding me that when you go to the Connector to Creator worksheets at the back, there is a section of the Connector to Creator worksheet which is Listen and Look For. And we're giving you all kinds of examples of audio and visual cues that you can train your network, your power team, your bragging buddies to keep their eyes and ears open for. And so as we really dig into this together over the next few weeks, you're going to see how many tools and resources there are between the workbook and the Money on the Table book, to where you're not really going to have to reinvent the wheel. You're not going to have to get overly creative to answer these questions or follow the system, because we've already done the homework for you. So if you want to look through that Connector to Creator directory, it might help you identify some different ways to describe your target market and your customers. Okay. I'm going to give you a 10 key question tip, and then we're going to finish up the webinar today with the education coordinator slot for your next chapter meeting. These 10 key questions can be used in a wide variety of settings, and it's my recommendation that we start by using a few of these questions during your next BNI meeting. Have you ever had a visitor show up to the BNI meeting? We all know that everybody's a visitor host. We walk up to the visitor, introduce ourselves, ask them a question, talk maybe a little bit about what business they're in, and then there's that uncomfortable silence. We just don't know how to continue the conversation. Recommendation is use the 10 key questions to stimulate conversation with the visitors at your meeting. You can use them at any type of networking activity, but let's specifically focus on your BNI meeting. We want to convert more visitors into members, making them feel comfortable, getting them to talk about themselves and see themselves as successful, and liking the other people in the group is key to visitor conversion. And so pick out a few questions, commit them to memory, and use them at your next chapter meeting.